Hello, my guests of honor. How's it
Hi.
going?
Hi.
Hello.
This is kind of a fun, different episode. Casey Yoshida, who has not been introduced on Heart of the City yet, for those of you who don't know, is an amazing photographer in Chattanooga, dear friend of mine, and my co-creative director for the Scout Guide, which is what we will be talking about today. And then yours truly, Sallie Tipton, who is the producer of Heart of the City and also the associate editor for the Scout Guide. So we're just like all tethered here today. One thing that I think is really cool, I brought to their attention a couple weeks ago, is I was like, listen, I think we need to do a Heart of the City episode unpacking volume 13 because the launch was coming up and I was just getting really excited about it. And I was like, ultimately, Heart of the City and the Scout Guide have such shared missions, supporting local, non-traditional advertising, amplifying small business owners' voices. So here we are. And I just can't wait to unpack this beautiful volume and share a little bit more about our passion for what we do.
Let's get into it.
This episode is brought to you by Forte Fitness. What I love about Forte's personal training approach is it isn't focused on body image or outward appearance, but rather lifelong wellness and functional movement. Forte has been an integral part of my life and has seen me through a lot of seasons, including 2 pregnancies, 2 postpartum seasons, and now juggling 2 babies while still doing my best to prioritize my workouts. The team at Forte is all about meeting you where you are. Whether you've never picked up a weight in your life or you're ready for the next challenge, there is a place for you. Your first step will be a one-on-one consultation with the owner, Adam Lozano, and from there, he will pair you with the best trainer to meet your goals. Text Adam at 423-838-0086 to set up your consultation and mention Heart of the City to get your first 3 personal training sessions for free.
So let's deep dive into this beauty. I feel like there are definitely ones in here that stick out that kind of just feel either more meaningful or poignant to us for whatever reason that we've kind of mentioned. And I just think it would be fun to unpack some of those and why.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, so if you have a guide, you can follow along. No, I'm just kidding. The first that you'll come to is Bloom. That was on our list of ones that just kind of had a special meaning this year. I can start from my perspective, I guess. Yeah. So Christine and I have known each other for quite a while. She's been in the guide since volume 8, which was the first guide that we all produced together. And I think talk about quiet trust. I think the road with Christine hasn't been loud. It hasn't been in your face. It hasn't been, we're not best friends. Like there's really not a lot more to it than like she just wholeheartedly respects our creativity, our process, everything that we do. I even want to brag on the one year. What year was that? It was volume 9 or 10 where she
Carousel?
Well, remember we had pitched a slew of ideas and then she like scheduled a call and she was like, hey, I just feel like these ideas maybe are falling a little flat from what I think you guys are capable of. And I would love to see you go back to the drawing board for me and just see if we can, I think it was the hot air balloon year.
Yes.
So honestly,
So
like
10.
at first you're just kind of like, ooh, is this jarring? And then you're like, no, this is awesome. Like maybe she's right, you know? And honestly, art is subjective. So none of it really is jarring because like whether those original ideas, can't even think of what they were, so they couldn't have been that great, were good for her or not, they weren't what she was wanting. So that's what's beautiful about it. We can always go back to the drawing board. We do want our clients and members to feel really solid in whatever we proceed with. So, just kind of her even just testing and challenging our creative direction that year, I feel like gave her more trust in us when we did deliver that second time, but also kind of gave me more trust in her that she's not just going along with whatever. Like she does deeply care and she wants to get there with us. And like she's going to encourage that and hold us to some level of accountability.
Absolutely.
It's just really cool.
Yeah, and but I think that even with Christine, year after year, I think that that has gone 2 ways.
Totally.
I think that she knows what we're capable of. We know what she's capable of.
Yes.
And so it's been like, the relationship with her has probably been one of the most deeply collaborative over the course of all these volumes. And I feel like that I feel like whenever she's called something out, like, I think you all can, I can push. I think that we've gotten there with her because I think she sees what we're capable of, and she's like, we can actually tell a bigger story.
Totally.
But I think that, bring us up to the image that we created for her this year is so interesting. The arc of where we started with her and just the nature of her industry, florals, there's just so that just baseline is just so much big energy and such a strong visual for her to strip so much away.
So much away.
And I mean, I've told her this in person at least 10 times. Every time I see her, I'm like, this is the greatest image that we've made for you,
It's
because
so beautiful.
we took your story and what you do, and we stripped it down to the bare minimum. And it's real. I think it's the strongest visual that we've done.
Yeah. So for context, Christine did reach out when it was time to be kind of getting into creative. And she shared with us that she had found out that she had a cancer diagnosis, which of course was a really, heavy conversation in and of itself. And if you guys do listen to Heart of the City, she was on our podcast, and it was just an amazing episode. So I would encourage you to listen to that whole journey. But with that, I was expecting her to say, I think I need to take a knee on Scout Guide this year because I just don't know what the future holds. Like, I mean, everything was at risk at that point. Like her business, her future, her family, her life, like huge news. That was not Christine's knee jerk. Christine's knee jerk was to say, so I'm just going to need you guys to help me figure out how to be on brand for Bloom, but make it the simplest and least amount of really just big effort on me and my team, because we just have a lot going on. Fair enough. So it was like where that was so hard and difficult of a time, it really was the catalyst to allow us to really kind of push the limit on how simple we can go. And when we found some of the inspo that informed this image, it just like, it clicked. I mean, we gave her options, but we all were like, I hope she goes this direction. And she did. And it was just so bomb. And Penny at the fitting room styled her and found that gorgeous gown. And I mean, yeah. And I guess another thing to say is like she opted out of hair and makeup. She was on I think maybe she had like very slight touch-ups just to make sure like there weren't flyaways and maybe a little like something, but it was very stripped down even from that, just for her health. And she just really was not taking in any toxins and has kind of been on a toxic-free journey. So man, everything about this one just, yeah, it's like emotional looking at it, honestly.
It's a good one to lead us off as the first feature.
Yeah, totally. Agreed. At HK shoot this year. I mean, it was like we were on set. It was at Milltown. Is that? Yeah, Milltown, which is like abandoned building vibes. We had this plan. We were using the scaffolding. It was like very layered. And literally we had already like explored all these other options. We had walked up to all the other floors just to make sure we had like dotted all of our I's, crossed our T's. It was also hot as hell that day. Like we were pouring sweat. I was probably 8 months pregnant, so it probably felt extra hot to me. But we were literally about to wrap up, and Casey was like, hey, hold on, you guys, come over here real quick on this wall. And it was like the way the sun was coming in through that doorway or window or whatever it's going to be once it's built out. It was just phenomenal. And like the minute I saw them go walk against the wall, I saw it, but it was like you saw it before there was ever even people there. And it was now the guide image that they chose. So, I mean, how cool.
Well, if you know one thing about me, I will push everyone to pure
exhaustive photography
on a shoot day, and I will make everyone walk up 4 flights of stairs, up and down, and end on a wall that was on the first floor.
And it'll have been worth it.
Yeah, always. Sallie, like, do you remember being surprised? I mean, you were on set that day. And
I wasn't on set that day, but I do remember being like, wait, like,
I think I called
what
you.
happened to the scaffolding?
Right. Yeah, exactly. And then you were like, are we sure we want to include these options? Like, this wasn't the vision. And and we were like, I think we need to.
Yeah. It turned out really, really well.
Yeah.
And then our designer put the HK in the back, like the shadow HK in the back.
Yeah.
Which I also really love about it.
It is so pretty. Yeah.
I think the thing about the image itself is it's capturing the same essence and telling the same story that the scaffolding ultimately was. You know, I mean, so that's what is so interesting to me about it is it's just a more striking image, similar to Christine's, using less pieces. You know, this is literally using like a beam of light to tell the same story that we were telling with the scaffolding too.
Yeah. And I think it's really such a testament to specifically how you two work on set, because a lot of times when you're in a photo shoot with, whether it's from a client point of view or my point of view, you guys will shoot what we went there to shoot, and a lot of times you will shoot about 10 other sets or compositions or angles or whatever you want to call it.
Do I never noticed.
And it's just, you guys really don't stop until you have more than enough, and you know that you have not just 5 options to hand over, but sometimes a lot more than that. So it's really a testament to you two on set.
I think for me, there's greater heartache in leaving set, and whenever I'm driving home, knowing that there was something that I could have done and I didn't, based on time constraints or just not pushing through, you know, one extra idea. I think there's more heartache in that for me than extra time or sweat or running back to the studio to grab something that we need in order to execute just one last idea. I think that's, for me, that personally, that's where like sometimes the best work is made, is in the final hour. You know, I think some other photographers might say, oh, the best images are the first handful. And that sometimes might be the case, but I just feel like sometimes whenever you push through like the last half hour, it's like, I would say more often than not for me, that's when the magic happens. And I think it's because your brain's been running for just long enough to like really warm up and exercise what's happening on set. And I think that happened also a lot in this guide cycle, is just pushing through ideas that weren't working, and it just warms you up to, you know, maybe an additional half hour, 45 minutes, full hour of shooting. But it's, you know, for me, it's worth it.
I just did like a quick calculation because I was like, wonder how many photo shoots roughly we've done together in the 6 years we've been producing guides, and it's like nearly 500. And in the 500 shoots, I feel like maybe there's been 2 times where you've called me leaving set and going, I am kicking myself. We could have done this. And it wasn't even that you thought of it on set and just chose not to. You were literally like 30 minutes removed, still just like reeling about it, and went, and I'm like, Case, you know, we got it. Like, I love you, but,
Curse
and
of
yes,
perfectionism.
we could have done way more things, but it's just, but that goes to show, like, typically you are thinking of every single option on set and executing those options. And I mean, gosh, talk about like value per hour. I mean, Casey, you just go above and beyond, the extra mile. I mean, there's never a time where you aren't down to fully do that, and that really you're usually leading the way on that. But I just appreciate your just above and beyond attitude always. I mean, it's just, you don't stop till you're fully happy.
Yeah, well, I love doing it. So thanks for sticking it out with me, guys.
Oh gosh. Okay, curate.
This episode is brought to you by Chattanooga Shoe Company. If you know me, you know I'm obsessed with shoes. It's probably my main addiction when it comes to shopping. One reason I love shoes is they fit in every season of life, and they can still be that statement piece in an outfit. Chattanooga Shoe Company not only curates styles that are cutting edge in the fashion world, but also their shoes are by far the most comfortable pairs that I own. Instead of only wearing the big brands like Adidas and UGG, I love wearing things that not everybody else has. And Chattanooga Shoe Company has introduced me to brands from all over the world that I would have never otherwise known existed. I get compliments on my shoes just about every single day, and I'm so proud when I get to say they're from Chattanooga Shoe Company. Use code HOTC for 10% off your purchase when you shop online at chattanoogashoe.com.
I think curate sticks out a lot for me because this is one that there were originally a lot of layers to. There was a lot of, okay, I think we could do this and then this, and then in post-production we could do this, and then that will be a good outcome.
I mean, though the general concept still feels aesthetically similar to where we started.
Totally.
It went through a lot of iterations.
There were a lot of logistics that changed along the way
there were
too,
logistics,
sure.
yes.
So,
I mean, most I would say most people, if they knew the original concept, would be like, "How did we end here?" I think really, it's similar in tone. The application is just different, but this one probably was the farthest jump from where we started.
And interestingly enough, I think one thing this one taught me was that, so the original was Cindy actually by herself. Cindy was going to be by herself. Last year, she did her whole team, and the owner was like, okay, that's what we encourage. We're like, this year should be your year. Let's just like do an extreme jump. When we had an awesome concept for her. And she called me up and just said, I have been grappling. I have not been able to sleep over it. I have these other 4 providers that just mean so much to my business and to my growth and to where I am today, that if they are not featured in this with me, I just won't be able to, I don't feel right about it. And from just like a human perspective, it was just like, sometimes you have to just like throw all the logistics, all the inconveniences, all the whatever out the window, because we are all human. And if you are losing sleep and having anxiety over something, this should be enjoyable. This should be, feel so aligned with what you want in your brand. And I think it just really taught me to just remember that humanness that we're dealing with here, even though it is a big production and it is a lot of work and it is a lot of moving parts and it is a lot of people we're scheduling and time and people's energy. And, and she was, of course, so gracious about all of that. And, we worked out the logistics to make the changes. But yeah, I think it's just like being willing to hear someone and say, hey, I get it. Like, I've been there. And if it's not going to sit right, it's not going to sit right. So then even the concept that was when the 5 of them came around was something slightly different, but yet I think we still got there. And just, again, like, it's that refinement. It's just like, hey, are we trying to do too much? Like, let's take a couple steps back.
It's like, how many things can you strip back?
Yes, and it still be amazing, because look at these 5 beautiful women. Like, really, you don't need much at all.
Right.
And with the right styling, the right, beautiful, just humans inside and out, and a great photographer and great support staff. Like, and then this like kind of, paper mural. And then of course, like the touches you can put on and design at the end. But again, her flexibility and trust in us to strip some of that back is key.
100%. I was going to say, even collectively, the 3 of us, from a creative direction standpoint, not getting tied to the one idea and direction that we thought was going to work with this application, of being like, it's not working.
No.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a point, it's a good reminder, and like a good thing that I feel like I learned from this too, is that there's a point where it felt like the execution was getting away from like the brand and like what they were wanting.
Yes.
And just because like we had originally pitched this concept, it's like, okay, this isn't working anymore, and this is actually just a gorgeous image as is. Like, let's do something cool with design and make it work. So
I think it's right when you see the final image and you can't imagine it any other
yeah,
different.
Exactly.
And honestly, we even played with other iterations to try to get it closer to the concept. In post-production, we were going to add like these visuals and faces and all this, and it just was like, we're taking away from the business owner. Like, that was your whole point in the original, was just like, it is so much more about them and less about the production of it all. And that is where I am 1000% willing and thrilled to set our skills aside to be able to let them shine and it just be effortless. Yay.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Also a great use of typography from a design standpoint.
Yeah. Pretty.
Yep.
Feels very masthead energy.
That's beautiful.
Okay, main station.
Oh, gotta get there.
Love these folks.
Oh, not that far away.
Main station's a fun one.
Main station is really
This
good.
was one of the first ones I was out for.
Yes.
I was not
It was.
present and accounted for on set here. I would say this was probably one of our longest shoots.
100%.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think this one, so Mackenzie, she was, again, adamant about the team, which I get it. Like, I am so team rah-rah. I never want it to be the Amy Walters show. I mean, Sallie wants to slap me every time I say that, because she's like, you do know it's your brand. Like, you are the face. I'm like, yes, but... So I get it, and I always tell my people that, like, I do get that you want to celebrate your team. The Scout Guide is one of the things that makes it beautiful and unique is that it is owner focused. And so we do try to emphasize that in our pitches, in the creative concepts. But it was really, really important to Mackenzie. You know, Main Station has been in the guide before. They took a bit of a break. They've gone through an expansion. They came back, and she, just her growth is amazing. And so this was a really cool way of incorporating the team without incorporating the team. Because what happens when we have, I think she's 17 people deep. And then
17
even on a
people,
2-page, we started thinking about all these different ways, 17 people. And it's just like, so I was so thrilled when was it like a Kim Kardashian? It was some inspo that was like loosely
it was
like
a couple of
informed
inspos
this.
together.
Yeah,
so
we
there was
piecemealed.
a Skims.
Yeah,
app,
maybe it was
maybe?
Skims, but I mean, this was just so brilliant, and it was fun because not only are they featured in the Scout Guide, but they also kind of got all their own little mini glam moments with these Polaroids.
I feel like this was a really good way. Like when you look at this image, it still feels owner focused.
It
like
does.
It is
Yes.
quite obvious that she's
Yes.
the owner,
Yeah.
and I mean, with the hair and everything and the name, the name Main Station, like it just all flows
so
together
good.
really well. But then the fact that she has her team sprinkled in is cool.
Well, I think that this is a classic case of like all the pieces working so well together. I think like the branding feels particularly retro.
Totally.
I think the Polaroids coming into play, like it just is telling the whole brand story. And this is probably the most creative application for a group scenario that we've had to date.
I would
Totally.
And the fact that it dovetails so just chef's kiss into just the whole identity of the brand.
Totally.
It
good.
doesn't get better than that.
No, it's so good.
It's so good.
Okay, I am thinking of one that I feel like just needs a shout out. I feel like the Simply Beautiful one, this being Stacy's first year in the guide, I think this one was a pretty simple pitch for her to trust us and go for. And it is just one of the most striking in the whole book. I mean, the way that she crosses the gutter, the styling's on point. I think, once again, someone who understands, even though, yes, the Scout Guide is an investment for your brand, it is still paid advertising at the end of the day. However, she wasn't looking for swinging from a chandelier, everything but the kitchen sink, like let's pull out every stop for her first feature. And sometimes we see that in first year clients because they feel so, I got to get value. But like what better value than just like strikingly laid across 2 pages. And there's so much beauty to that. I mean,
I think when clients are featured for the first time, I think it's easy to also get creatively excited.
Totally.
Which
we all get.
I totally understand that. But I think that there's a way to do it that also honors the brand that you're trying to represent. And similar to, Main Station, to me, this one does the same. It just feels so elegant and minimal. And I mean, you literally look at this ad and this image and just the namesake, Simply Beautiful. I'm like, that's 100%
That's what it is.
what's happening
Yeah.
here. It's
Yeah.
just, it's incredible to me. And I think, this one, just so everyone knows, I think that we've maybe shared no less than 70 images that cross gutters in interesting ways.
Yeah.
So thank you, Stacey
Yeah,
Buckner,
right?
for...
Don't be afraid of the gutter.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of the gutter. Main Station was I should have touched on that with Main Station too.
Yeah, it's so true.
But that
People
also,
are afraid.
That also happened a lot in this guide, and
Yeah.
and we're very happy about that. So we can.
And there's just something fun about getting to like play in the studio, and you guys should
Yes.
see our gallery. That
Yes.
this is one of many really good ones. So
Yeah, there's something to be said about going simple because you're probably going to
Yeah.
get a ball out.
Yeah.
From a edited images perspective.
Yeah.
Because it's just low hanging fruit. They barely need editing when you have the
Yes.
lighting and you have all the pieces that are right, and it's just not too many moving parts. When it's too big of groups, you have to worry about eyes being shut, wardrobe being off. People's stance being more uncomfortable, and you're looking at so many other things. It's again taking the focus off the owner.
Yeah, I think that absolutely. I think that shoots that we have that are, when I say more owner focused, just less subjects. There's just with more people, you're dealing with a people puzzle, as we
Totally.
as we like to call it, and it's just going to just based on time
Yes.
and moving people around, and like you said, eyes closed. It just puts a threshold on what the outcome can
Totally.
be, just from an image count standpoint. So yeah, Stacy's is it's
so
it's
good.
great, and her entire gallery. I mean, I think that we swapped, just the three of us swapped images from this gallery several times. We're like, this is my favorite. This is my favorite. And ultimately, Stacy picked a stunning one, but I think she could have just literally rolled the dice. There was just so many great images from this shoot. So yeah.
Okay, let's jump to Mint Dental. This one is just special because we found this awesome GQ kind of inspiration for this, and we were like, okay, but what if it was Damien and Mumford brushing their teeth? Which Mumford was Damien's sweet little French bulldog who was like the face of Mint Dental. Sorry, Damien. And it was just a really sweet shoot. I mean, we were in his personal bathroom. It was like very, intimate. The lighting was really cool in the white tile bathroom. And, but Mumford was definitely different energy that day. Like both me and Casey left talking about that, interestingly enough. And then come to find out 24 hours later, Mumford passed away. So it was like, we both were like, I mean, I really called Case, or no, you called me, I think, and told me.
Yeah.
And we were like, how? That's going to be even more special that he's in this final guide and kind of got this cool little, photo shoot with him. That's just the timing.
I mean, I was going to say just the timing of it alone. I mean, though sad that Mumford wasn't as perky as he had been in the past. I think just the timing of knowing that we were able to capture this, for the guide, sure, but also just for Damien,
Damien.
and
Totally.
the fact
how
that
sweet for him.
The fact that Mumford had been such a huge part of the visual brand for for Mint Dental. So to know that Mumford is in this guide is
really
particularly
sweet.
special. Yeah.
Really is. Okay, let's see. Do we want to jump to Rev?
Yeah, let's do it.
Trying to get there. Okay, Rev. Sallie, you were there. All three of us were at this one.
We were there.
Oh, yeah, of course. It took a village.
This was towards the end of your
Yeah,
time
this
with
also
us.
was toward the end of my time.
I'm like, Amy, regale us with the entirety of this fiasco.
Oh my gosh. Okay, guys. Rev. They're angels, thank the Lord.
I was gonna say you can fill in all the details because Matt and Monica are so cool and they were there.
And
the whole
Lauren
thing.
America. My gosh, all of them are just. So it started out, this was always the vision, but it started out in a different location. It got down to we drove there, we parked there, we go, you know what? The sun is still really high in the sky. What if we just sit here in the cars, which it was, again, super hot. So we were like, let's stay in our cars, let the AC blow. You don't want your makeup to run. Let's just give it 15 more minutes before we start the trek to the spot that we had scouted for this, okay? Now, mind you, when we say we'd scouted it, Casey had shot there before, but it had been a year or so.
Yeah, maybe longer, but
So
And the spot is along the Riverwalk, right?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
gonna
That's
say
important
it's
to
also
tell
yeah.
no,
the
yeah,
the
totally.
Riverwalk,
Yeah,
which
so
is
we're
public.
parked near the Riverwalk. We were like, let's let the sun come down. So that's another challenge we face is these outdoor shoots were the scheduling is ever evolving all summer because the sun is also starting to set at different times throughout the summer. So it's always this guessing game. We always want to start earlier than later because there's nothing worse than racing the sun and not getting what you need. So we sit there, we are shooting the shit. I think we have our windows down at one point talking about the Bachelorette finale or something. And then we're rolling the windows back up and then we're voice texting each other because it's me, Sallie, and Casey in a car and then the four of them in a car sitting
They're
next to
drinking
each
Fireball.
other. Yeah.
It was totally fun. Everything was cool.
Exactly. We're loosening up. So finally we were like, okay, I think it's time. Me, Sallie, and Case are going to go to the spot and then I will call them or something. Okay, big production.
Yeah, we were gonna get to the actual location set up.
Start test shots because again, you don't want your people out there with their hair and
Sweating.
makeup in white wardrobes, sweating
and
through
it was a solid maybe 12-15 minute
walk.
Yeah,
Okay, so we get barely out of the parking lot, and we
Not
see
far.
to the sidewalk.
and we see that there is total blockage to the Riverwalk at all to give us access to start getting to the place we were going. Construction because of the new stadium. So, I mean, immediately, it's like, it's not really funny, but it's kind of the funniest thing because immediately I just see Casey. Like, he's already 10 steps ahead. His wheels are spinning. He's like, dear Lord, what are we going to do?
You already know.
Yeah. So we like see these bikers go by. They're having to turn around. We see these walkers. They're having to turn around. We ask some people, hey, do you know if there's any other way around this? They're like, oh, no, this is all shut down. And I'm talking like barbed wire, big
thou shall not pass.
Because like we've jumped some fences when we've had to, but like this was not that energy, especially again in like white gauzy wardrobe for our people. So we had let the sun fall, okay, people? We were like racing now the perfect golden hour of sunset, and we had zero location for these people. Mind you, once hair and makeup is done, again, the scheduling of it all. I mean, we've been in a pickle like that only one other time where we've had to reschedule, and it's a terrible feeling, okay? So
ironically on the same side of town. I don't know.
Ironically, I think that spot is cursed for us. Okay. So we have to go break the news to them, which was slightly embarrassing because, I mean, I guess in the perfect world, we would have an army worth of people working on this project that would have gone out and made sure the location was perfectly manicured and ready for our arrival. But that's not how we roll. So we had to figure out the next move. And I mean, we stood there and we brainstormed every which way. We were like, you know, not only did we need the right looking field or spot, but we also needed it to be where the sun was going to be coming from the right direction and where we could all access for free and with no blah, blah, blah. So anyways,
And close by
because we were racing the sun. I mean, there were so many stressors.
I literally think we had with commute like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Tight.
Yeah.
And they were just like, I mean, let's try. Worst case, we'll have to reschedule, but we might as well exhaust it tonight and see what we can get.
They were wonderful.
They
came up with the location. They were like, what about that field over there? We were like,
over there by,
we'll try it.
Exactly. So we
again,
end up in the field over there by
collaboration.
Black Creek, and you know, you park across the road and we're like running across busy traffic and schlepping equipment and all of the props, and it was just crazy. I mean, and honestly,
nuts.
I think up until, like you said, like the final 15 minutes, I still wasn't convinced we were getting what we needed to make sure
it was the first half hour. It was a reshoot.
It was a reshoot still in our minds, but we were like, we have to at least try.
Yeah.
These people are here in hair and makeup, but there were just aspects happening that we were like, you know, and sometimes you are so married to the original vision that you just can't unsee it. You can't let it go. It just feels like such a heartbreak. But man, they were such troopers. And when I tell you it was buggy,
I was going to say.
the grass was high.
Bugs.
It was disgusting. Like from someone.
It had also rained quite a bit
It
leading
was-
up to, and so it was like pretty mushy.
Ugh, there
Yeah.
were so many
They had
factors,
to be
and they were
uncomfortable.
just, they were laying in it. I mean,
was
looking
uncomfortable.
like they were just in their beds.
Yeah. Looking so glamorous.
Props to these gorgeous humans inside and out, and them just going the extra mile with
I
us.
do specifically remember when we draped the fabric in this way, and I mean this exact image was probably in the last 50 frames that were taken, and I remember being like,
I think we
this is
got it.
good.
Yeah.
you know, and so I think.
Casey makes a certain face that when I see it, I know we're good.
Yeah.
And it's like
can go
until that face happens, I'm always a little bit like, are you good? Do we need to rethink something? Do I need to go do something
The
different?
face was not facing in the first 30 minutes. I was like, I think that we should just call this and
my
reshoot.
gosh.
But it's, you know, the testament to what I was saying earlier,
Yeah.
you know, to just continue exhausting everything that you can and push
Yeah.
through. And sometimes, you know, the greatest magic happens in the last 15 minutes.
I love it.
This episode is brought to you by Sweet Ease Children's Boutique. Sweet Ease has the best selection of kids' clothes from newborn all the way through teen. And especially as a boy mom, it is so nice to have styles and options that actually fit our vibe. The sweat sets, the cool trucker hats, the shoes, but of course also the holiday jammies and the special occasion outfits. They've got everything. They have 2 locations in Chattanooga. They do personalization with their monogramming in-house, and they have a full online store. Use code HOTC for 10% off your entire purchase in-store or online.
As always, this is just such a labor of love, and I'm just so proud of Volume 13 for so many reasons. I do think it might be a front runner of my favorite cover color, at the very least. But then the content inside just makes it a front runner for my favorite yet.
The cover color is really good. If I
What?
do say so.
It took several browns
Which was
to get
also
here.
it was also a labor of love.
No, I was like, are you going to let everybody
Yeah.
know how many browns we looked
True.
at before we landed on this one?
I mean, what?
Several.
No short of gosh. So when we put out
At
the
least five.
contest, the browns were tied. So we kind of had some flexibility to pick the brown tone. And then that was almost bad because we just kept overthinking. Is it too purple? Is it too green? Is it too orange? And
Which it
man,
was, but
yeah, which
it
it
was.
was. And thank God we ended up right where we needed to. Okay, so let's talk just overarching about just our cycle and how to produce this book of 100 and some odd pages.
6.
It takes a full year. I mean, from the time we've launched Volume 12, the Yellow Guide, to now, I mean, truly, it was already in the works before it was ever even like anywhere near truly produced. And I think that's something that, you know, maybe people who aren't as involved in our process even realize is it's truly, we're kind of always working a year ahead. We're simultaneously still supporting and, you know, staying involved with our current guide members, but we jump into the mindset of the next volume pretty quickly because it just takes a lot to produce this, between curating the right members to be in the guide, that we want to invite in just per industry, per, you know, their successes and their stories and, you know, that sort of thing. And then the creative is its whole own animal. You know, the three of us get together weekly, multiple times a week for quite a while and really dig into tons of inspo that we save. And yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? Is there something that you guys think maybe people don't really realize about maybe the creative process specifically?
I think I would imagine people would find it surprising that really the creative direction cycle lasts about as long as shoot season in and of itself. Just, you know, digging through ideas, us discussing what could, you know, work, lighting scenarios, props, what the needs for that would be, how realistic that is given, you know, the time frame or constraints
Totally.
of this project. And then taking that, you know, to the client. Does it land? Are we all on the same page? Sometimes circling back, you know, that for each client and with a project this size, you know, that's a labor intensive, you know, part of the project. So I think I would imagine that most people that either aren't part of this team or don't do this for a living or haven't ever been a part of a team like this, I think most people, you don't know what you don't know. And so
No.
most people probably just think that we're like, this would be cool. Let's do this. This client has an idea. But really it's kind of arduous.
Yeah, it is.
The creative direction process.
Yes, it's so layered. It's, you know, I think because we all love what we do and care so much, it also is like, sure, you could say maybe we overcomplicate it. You know, we're not willing to just throw any idea in front of these people. I mean, we come up with some, we sit, we think about it, we narrow it down, we omit things, we think, oh, that could be too close to this or too close to last year, this thing we did. And we're very protective over our clients feeling like they are in their own unique right in their space in the guide. And that's something I'm really protective over even when I'm scouting and I'm inviting these people in to be a part of this. Is it's like, do I feel like I can appropriately and effectively market them against anyone else that might live in this close to their industry or within their industry? And so that's also something we're always having to be looking out for. And that starts with the creative. You know, it's like if we don't catch that until we're at their photo shoot, it's too late, you know? So it's just a lot of thinking ahead. It's a lot of what maybe some people would say overthinking. It's a lot of late night texts. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of ruminating, circling back, yes. But I think that's the magic. I mean, I think that is what makes it special and sets it apart from other types of advertising. And I'm just really blessed and lucky that I have a team that loves what they do as much as I do. And we get to just wake up and run towards something we are so passionate about every day.
And I think the specifically the creative direction or just the creative behind this project, to me at this point after so many cycles, is the one thing I feel like this community really sees.
Totally.
I feel like when this project is picked up, I think the team behind it and the standard that we've set ultimately for ourselves, but for the clients and for this project in general, I think that's what people like beyond just the photography itself. I think the standard for creative
Totally.
that we've set is what people
Yeah.
really ultimately, I know for a fact, see in this project now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which one evolution that's fun that I'm going to brag on Sallie about is that Casey and I have talked about it recently. Casey and I have always been in the creative together. You've always been in the trenches with me when it comes to the creative and the photography and the photo shoots. Sallie was a slower entry into the creative space, not because we didn't want her or need her. I think you sold yourself short for a lot of years. I think you just didn't own what you were capable of. And honestly, as a leader, I wish I would have seen it sooner or helped pull that out of you sooner, because man, when I tell you the ratio of how many of these that were probably your idea that you brought to the table, and I mean, not even that you brought to the table. I mean, you're in it just as much as us now, but even in the last couple years, the trajectory of you're getting more involved and being more embedded as a critical part of the creative is just so awesome. And it's been such a fun kind of progressive journey to watch you move through and kind of step into. And I'm just like so proud of having all three of our minds in this. And I do think that's why it keeps getting better. It's like, it's not just still the way it was 6 years ago. It has pulled more energy into it. And then that allows us to maybe go step in other places and get revitalized and come back into it with more energy, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm really excited about what the next couple years will look like.
Yeah, I think it's the company you keep. So I think you guys have definitely helped me to elevate from a creative standpoint and to just think about things differently than I maybe ever have. And yeah, it's been like a fun muscle to flex that I didn't even know existed, I think. And yeah, that's been definitely like a surprising benefit to this job, especially like over the past like 2 to 3 years, I would say. So yeah, it's been fun.
Fun. I love it.
Yeah, I think to me it's no surprise now, like when Sallie brings like a badass idea to the table. But I feel like I know for a fact it's been for sure the last 2 cycles, but this volume, I would easily say that Sallie ran circles around me
Yeah. I mean,
from a
truly.
creative direction standpoint.
Well, she's our pop culture queen.
Yes, I'm like
She's the most abreast to the latest, the greatest, the coolest, the baddest. And I'm like,
100%.
oh, if you want to know of something hot going on in the celebrity world, ask Sallie Tipton.
Yeah, I'm waiting.
So,
I'm waiting by my phone.
yeah,
just for the updates.
honestly, I'm like, oh, if Sallie's watching it, I guess I better watch it.
But I think that, but I
keep you
think
in the loop.
it's like anything. I
Truly.
think for us, you know, when you've been doing a project like this for long enough, I don't think that it can become. I don't want to say formulaic, but you can fall into looking into the same places for inspiration, or you know, or coming back to something that you might have loved but could work a different way. I think Sallie bringing a fresh perspective, and really only the way that she can, because I truly think that being a creative is something so sublime that it's unique to you as a person. So all the unique things that Sallie sees out in the world and is constantly sending us, like, I mean, just really influenced this body of work
Totally.
in huge ways.
Totally.
And I think that it did allow, you know, us, speaking for myself, it allowed me extra space to push other aspects of the photography in order to bring those
Absolutely.
ideas to life. And
Absolutely.
I think that's been, you know, with this cycle, something that was beneficial for Sallie really pouring into the creative direction side, is that it gave us all space to exercise other things that we wanted to in order to bring, you know, a stronger body of work to life.
Yeah.
Which has been cool.
I love
Super
it.
cool.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, so would love to just touch on real quick the dynamic of our so tethered lives. I mean, we work together.
We are tethered.
We are great friends. We play, we work, we do all the things. So, I mean, I hate to almost even bring this up because it feels like I don't want to jinx us, but do you guys have any, you know, sometimes people have asked me, like, how are you so friendly with the people you work with? I mean, do you guys not get sick of each other? You know, and it's like, somehow. No. I mean, sure, we might butt heads. We might have disagreements. We might leave a situation and have to voice memo each other after or call and follow up and just be like, hey, I hope yesterday when I said such and such, but I mean, what is the secret sauce? I don't know. I wouldn't be able to write a book on it right this second. I feel like it's been a really special evolution of our dynamic that makes this really great, but I don't know that I can put my finger on it.
I think, if you ask me, I think the secret sauce is that none of us actually take ourselves super seriously.
True.
Which is really nice and like refreshing. And I've worked in other groups where people have taken themselves really seriously or had big major egos, and it's been like that's been like harder to deal with when you're working with people like that. One, I think none of us take ourselves super seriously. Two, I think we all feel very passionate about this project. So like when there is tension or when it does feel messy or feels like we're running on fumes and like maybe we're butting heads or whatever, it's like, okay, tension isn't like bad or like failure or mean that this isn't working. It means that we're really freaking passionate about what we're doing. So I think it's a little bit of both of those things.
Yeah, no, I think we all love this project and we all have the same end goal. So I think that there's like trust and respect on all fronts, like in a purely work with just the work itself. So I think that's why we get along so well. And for me, I think artists or creative types just tend to band together. It's like you find your tribe, and I think for me, making this work, there's so much time that we spend away from, our families and just bringing this work to life, and so I think that the trust and respect
And just enjoyment.
yeah, and just enjoyment, and I think that coupled with just the amount of hours, just the pure amount of hours that we spend together, like, I think that it's just that we've had fun doing it.
Yeah.
And then, and then we've gotten so close over, a number of years that I don't know, for me, I guess sometimes I just don't want to turn it off. I'm like,
It is kind of
do you
like-
want to go to a show this weekend?
Right. Should we go to dinner after this?
I realized that we were just together for like 4 or 12-hour days, but just
Exactly.
checking.
Are we seeing Wuthering Heights tonight? What are we doing?
Oh
No,
my gosh.
I would agree. I think as arduous as this job can feel, especially because keep in mind it is just the three of us running this full year. But as arduous as it can feel, it feels that like 97% of the time this job is really fun.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
that's because you guys make it fun.
Yeah.
Same.
So
It's funny. We're very close because we've all used the word arduous in this exact episode, at least a couple times. So sorry. Sorry, guys.
Sword.
We kind of all have the same language. Guys, I'm so proud of you both. I'm so proud of this guide. I am so proud of where the Scout Guide is in our city. Just on its trajectory, coming from a long legacy of greatness prior to me owning this business. And I can't wait to see what the next chapters hold. Thanks.
Yeah. Excited to see it in the wild.
Yes. Go get your guides.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.